So live from the Dirt Bike Test palatial, well-lit office in downtown Pahrump, Nevada, which is interesting to say, we are Tech Talk Taco Tuesday number 15. How do you like that?
How about Taco Tuesday Tech Talk?
You're dealing with someone who's relatively dyslexic, so we're just going to kind of keep that to a minimum.
All right.
And George is live out there doing a sound check for us. That's good. Victor, as always, the popsicle guy. You know, my monitor up there is maybe somebody, Gabe, you could go over and adjust that because it's I pushed the volume button. It needs to just slide over in the tray a little bit. So it's our 15th show. As you notice, we're in a slightly different location that time. Perfect. Angle it over. Just give it a little kick. There we go. I can even see my sound levels. We're in a slightly different location. This is our office. Might be a studio. It might be whatever it is. It's connected to my house, and I can ride a dirt bike right out the front door. And one of these shows, I'm going to ride a dirt bike in the front door and sit down and handle this. Did you steal this?
I did not.
Okay, good. That's mine. So we're trying to get rolling on a good note. I'd like to let you know that Dirt Bike Tests Tech Talk Taco Tuesday is brought to you by Kate's Real Food, Achirby's this week, and TM Design Works. These are companies that have, all of them, supported the sport that we all love. They're helping bring us here, and they make really good products that you should involve in your dirt biking activities. I don't have a Kate's bar right now because I just got done with my tacos. I did have a Kate's bar for lunch. Did you see me have my Kate's bar for lunch?
Yeah, you posted about it on Instagram.
Yeah. You got to follow me on Instagram because all you get to do is see me eating Kate's bars, and I'm happy to do that.
That's not an exaggeration either.
So it's energy, good energy, good food, and the best thing about it is Kate is a dirt biker herself and really supports us and says, I remember when we got those at Dirt Rider Magazine when they were brand new, and she had a connection through some of the guys that worked there, through Jesse Ziegler, I believe, and she sent some bars down there, and they disappeared, and I didn't get any, and they wrote a DR tested at the time on it, and they gave it like 100%. I'm like, nothing gets 100%. And so I'm like, they're like, no, it's that good. They get 100%. I'm like, nothing gets 100%. I can find something wrong with it. So they wanted to publish it. I'm like, they're not publishing something with 100% until you get me one of those to test, because I'm the editor. I have to test and edit everything, although I can't spell.
Right.
I can eat food. So they gave me some, the whole nother box came through and disappeared. I didn't get them. So we actually held the test, and I think they really wanted to run it. And so we actually ran it, but I dinged some points off of it.
Really?
And I hate to admit this because it actually does happen. And like, there's a few I can count on my hands almost how many times I was wrong.
You were wrong?
I was wrong. Yeah.
Wow.
And so
that's fair.
Kate's bars are really good. So, anyways, always stoked to have them aboard, and especially in my pocket when I'm out riding and I get hungry. So this week we are going to talk about a lot of stuff. I got a lot of really good questions. We're going to talk about the 2020 KTM EXEs that were announced. We're going to talk about some of the testing we've been doing on the Yamaha WR450. We actually went and rode today. I was kind of on My World finalizing some map settings that I had on it for the different pipes we've been running, and I was checking my butt because I got a new Achirby seat, the new X Seat Air. Just got it and threw it on today and broke it in. So we're going to talk about that. I got some really trick wheels for my adventure bike. I got some new W wheels for my adventure bikes all built up. And we have sitting next to me my special guest for the show, Matt Mattoon.
Hi.
So Matt's written some stuff for us at Dirt Bike Test.
Years ago,
back
when it first started up, yeah.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that early, but pretty close. He now he is a college student, which is kind of strange because when I met him, he was a dum-dum. And he is studying physics, which means he's probably smarter than I am. And so when I get into one of these debates or conversations about physics, his job is to step in and just say,
wrong.
Oh, what?
Prove you wrong.
You have proof.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, he'll use science to prove my my ass in the seat, hand on the throttle wrong. So he's just here to keep me in check. He's in town, has a little bit of time off school, so we are out ripping around today riding. Matt has a Husaberg 300, 2012. I was just informed.
Yep.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that. We'll get into that bike a little bit later, and lots of other stuff. So I'm going to dive right into questions because I think you got some good ones, and we'll try to answer these. And of course, Victor wants to know what I'm drinking tonight. Tonight, I am drinking. Well, I haven't had it yet, but I'll explain the story. It's this is my favorite, my current favorite, Victor. This is a Loma Azul. It's a mid. There, I got to get the label up there. It's a mid-priced tequila, but it ranks very high. I'm having Reposado tonight for a kind of very specific reason, largely because my Clase Azul had a little problem. It went empty. It's like nothing left. So, and you think I can actually afford this? This is a gift. See, it was a gift because I fixed Mark's Clake. It was one of those clutch brake things, and it saved him. He was able to continue taking to school and go riding. So luckily, since I fixed a Clake, I got that bottle, and now that it's empty, I'm hoping that he comes back and something breaks on his motorcycle and I help fix it. So tonight's tequila is Loma Azul, and I'm backing it with a Hams. So question number one. Jeremy Brown says, Jimmy, thanks for all the Tech Talk videos. Not sure if this is the best way to send in a topic request, but figured it was worth a shot. Yes, it is, because I have it. I'm not sure which way you sent it in. Oh, I know. It wasn't the best way because I had to have Trevor undecipher it from Facebook's and put it into an email for me. So you may have already covered it. Forgive me if I'm missing an episode on this request. It'd be cool to hear your tech tips on setup tricks for the KTM 500 and what you like to do those bikes. I know you have mentioned them as being a favorite bike. Also, what you did to your Tour of Idaho bike as well. Well, those bikes are one and the same, actually. The one that I ride, the KTM 500 I ride the most. Anything you would have done differently for bike setups? Also, GPS tips. Appreciate it. So, Jeremy, I'm going to give you one big tip that you can do that would save me a lot of time and blah, 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 blah. You can go on to Dirt Bike Test, search the Tour of Idaho, and watch that video I did. That way you get to see my bike, see my tech tips, see my GPS setup, all that stuff. It's explained there. The reason we actually have that website is so I can say what I just said. That way it saves us a lot of time. We can kind of mow through this stuff. But my KTM 500s are pretty they're largely stock engine-wise, but they're very individually set up. I do a little bit of suspension tuning, kind of stuff that's specific to me. I like a little bit of a little more hold up and a little stiffer ride, probably because I'm carrying more weight and more gas. I run a big Acerbis tank on the bike that I do the longer distance stuff with, and I have a mid-sized one, and then I have a stock one, all with the fuel pumps in, so I can change them real quick. You know how quick you can change gas tanks on KTMs and Husabergs?
Yeah. I'm very experienced with taking gas tanks off Husabergs.
We did that today. So I have the different size gas tanks that are just really quick to switch, and Gabe, this one's for you. You know there's that quick disconnect on the fuel lines, on the fuel-injected KTMs? You don't actually have to unscrew or break the hose clamp and pull it off the line? You know that? You didn't know that. Yeah, I saw that gas tank, the 1190 gas tank on the ground. So, what else did I do? I mean, the Tour of Idaho bike, I just had luggage set up on it. My current luggage setup is Wolfman stuff. I've switched a little bit from the Giant Loop stuff I ran on the Tour. Just personal preference. They're both really good companies, make good stuff. I run Kenda tires almost all the time. They support my schools, and I'm super happy with those tires, the longevity, and especially the performance under braking. GPS setup tips. Man, now that the Voyager Pro is out, I would probably run a one regular Voyager and then a Voyager Pro because of the mapping that's in it. I don't really use the mapping. I just keep my arrow on the line and then go from there. So yeah, hopefully that answers some of your questions, but I'm sure that video would answer a lot more. And then you can probably get yourself invited and then kicked off and then re-invited and then kicked off again to the Tour of Idaho group that's on Facebook. All you have to do is tell them that Jimmy recommended that you ride an adventure bike on the Tour of Idaho and you'll be set. Don't do that. So Ben Everett asks, how exactly does one degrease noise levels? He said he put degrease in quotes. Inquiring minds want to know. So either he's picking on me for my prowess as an editor, my spelling. So I was just going to say, hey, spell check did that for me, but I probably typed it in that way. But how do you decrease noise levels? I think is the question you're getting at. And if you're making a joke, then I shouldn't answer it, but if you aren't making a joke and you want to know how to decrease sound, you make a bigger muffler. That's the key.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, physics, doesn't physics come into play here?
It might a little bit. I mean,
can you?
I don't want to. I don't want anyone to quote me on this, but I mean, if it's longer, it might have more like for the.
Perfect.
Yeah,
exactly.
like
exactly like what I was thinking. That the reason is so decreasing noise levels on motorcycles. It's everybody thinks it's all about the muffler, but right now we're spending a lot of time learning how to decrease the tire noise, the chain slap, where sound reflects off of based on where the sound meters are. So it's kind of a game, and actually Chris Real in the chat room. He is an expert at that, and he could probably answer your question too. One of these days I'm going to get him in here. Because he can answer it. He wouldn't be as specific as Matt was right there, but I'm pretty sure
he might actually be right too.
Well, that's what he works in. He's well studied in that. And then let's see, Anonymous. My friend and I will be passing through Pahrump this Sunday on an ADV tour. Can I stop by and say hello if you are around? No. I'm not just because I'm doing like this show once a week. You can stop by at this show if I invite you, but you can't just stop by. Yeah.
No soliciting.
I live in a compound out here. I'm in Pahrump, Nevada. Have you ever heard of Art Bell? He was really famous. There's a show called Coast to Coast AM. Yeah. Where he got abducted by aliens, right? Art did? Yeah. So I'm not really sure who you are and why you're anonymous and why you want to stop by. So let's not go there right now. Yeah. CJ commented, how difficult would it be to open the trans up and tear out the sixth gear to a longer one? He's talking about the KTM 350, I'm pretty sure. It would be as easy as it is to open up the cases and change the gears, but I haven't done the research to find out if those gears are available, if there's the proper ratios. I know KTM has a ton of transmissions, and I remember in the old days when we used to do them on like the Honda 2-strokes, there was gear sets to put, make it a wide ratio transmission and stuff, and it was just mixing and matching parts from other bikes and stuff. So I'm pretty sure that there's a way to do it. I may do it because I now have that bike, and that's something I would like, but we will see if there's a way. When there is a way, I will let you know. But there's got to be someone that's smarter than me on that specific KTM part stuff that would know. Somebody should, and then they should sell it, and then people would buy it. Right. Bobby Hughes asks, hello, I have recently purchased a Sierra 450L enduro bike, stock 25 horsepower. That means he's in Europe, I believe, because they have a much more restricted Sierra 450L. How much
That's
BHP, and that would suggest that too, do you think the tuner would add, or do you have any other recommendation or mods for me? Oh yeah, I'm from the UK, and there's no parts available for them yet. So I have seen your intake track before, your airbox boot, and the baffling they put inside of that intake track. And frankly, until you replace it with something that's a little less restrictive, nothing will help that. And I don't know. I kind of suspect that your muffler is the same as ours, so that's not really a big issue, because we've seen over here that the fuel tuner will help a stock bike completely stock. but it also requires taking off the airbox cover to really see any benefits. So you want to, if you take your airbox cover off, there's stuff downstream that's going to make it so it's not really helping. So maybe you need to make friends with somebody in the United States, maybe somebody on the chat board right here that might be able to go to the Honda dealer and buy an intake boot if that's the part, and then they could send it over to you, and then good luck, good times. That would start you on the path, and then I would get a JD tuner and or a Vortex ignition, which does even more stuff, and you might be well on your way to getting a lot more horsepower. But yeah, 25 that's CRF 250 levels, L levels. So it's their bikes are very, very restricted over there. So good luck with that. Let us know how it goes, because I'd like to be able to answer those questions, because this the way the world is today, we're pretty international, and we can help and make connections for you. Let's see. 5 days ago, this question, Jimmy, I like your channel a lot. Think of getting this for my 2019 500 EXC. Good power, but miss the feel of my old 520 EXC. Maybe this exhaust end cap would do it. Oh, it's about the JD jetting tuner. That's right. I think I answered this last week, if I remember correctly. But the JD jetting tuner, anytime you're going to mess with anything on an emissions compliant bike, one thing will affect another thing, because they're built to attune. Everything's working as a system, and if you uncork one thing, another thing is going to become a problem. There's going to be restrictions here and there. So I think if you're going to change an end cap, I run my stock ones with that perf screen just taken out of it. I don't really, and then when I want more power, I slip an FMF slip-on. If I want more, basically it's more snap, because on peak power, even the kind of the restricted mufflers do pretty good. They just kind of tame it kind of in the throttle response area. So those tuners work really good. Actually, we need to get JD Jetting on here as a sponsor. I think it's all I talk about anymore.
Yeah,
I'm gonna talk about that fuel tuner, that one fuel tuner that one tool company that I'm probably not gonna mention this show. So okay, let's see. We ran through most of the things. I know we wanted to talk about get the Yamaha WR in a minute. Oh, Victor wanted to know. I saw a question earlier today. He said, "What gear oil do I run in my two strokes?" I've run everything from ATF to, the 1540 diesel, the Delvac and Delo and stuff like that, to this motorcycle specific transmission fluids. And in all of them, I would say that it was dependent on the bike, how they responded, and it was mostly like clutch feel. How they changed the way the clutch engaged, and and then sometimes in some of them shifting feel. And if the clutch was good and needed better shifting, you could get away with running a slipperier type of oil. But if your clutch was slipping, you needed to go back to something that was more more grabby. And I can't really. I need a physicist.
Yeah. No,
Colin.
No, so I was just wondering. So, like, what did you mean by it's like more grabby oil, or more?
That's so the boy, you're getting me here. I'm trying to. I have to go back to remember the specific bike and which one I dumped in it for which reason. I remember on 125s we used to run ATF a lot because it was light, and we didn't, and believe it or not, we didn't really use the clutch. I mean, the clutch you're just banging shifts, holding the bike wide open all the time. It wasn't like you're slipping the clutch, but then on some four strokes that were generating a fair amount of heat. But those weren't transmission fluids. This is back to when we're running motor oils, different motor oils and stuff. So
right.
So is
it like a thicker oil is more grabby, or the more thinner oil?
Well, it depends on how hot it gets. That's
Right,
that's why I'm
right.
sitting here kind of getting confused on
There's
that.
just so many factors that
There's-
it's kind of hard to say.
I would say what I usually would do would test different stuff to see, which one worked the
Right.
best. So I know that as kind of a default, I've been going back to the 1540 diesel oil, the Dello and the Delvac and
Right.
stuff as a what? Rotella, that too.
Yeah, that's what I run in my 300 right now.
Yeah.
I really like it. I feel like it's a little bit thinner than a lot of the other transmission fluids that I put in there, and it made the bike the clutch a lot smoother.
When you have a one finger clutch,
Yeah,
That has
no,
the-
it's two. It's two. No, I have small baby fingers.
I have fat, chunky,
No,
little
mine
short
are
fingers.
mine are skinny. No, so and it also made the shifting a lot smoother as well. I actually switched to that based on your recommendation, and also I think John as well. But yeah, no,
And there's some of the oil companies that make really good transmission fluids too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I think I'm probably the worst guy to ask. I think there's a question here that I got to get to. Somebody asks about what 2-stroke oil am I using. It's like usually the closest one to my hand.
right. I can attest to it.
It's kind of like my choice in beer. This is the closest one to my hand right here.
Yeah.
So it generally they get the job done. When you start using stuff to 10/10ths, then you need something that performs specifically. And I was lucky because I got to race and I got to ride, where stuff we expected stuff to work to that level, and then we would try different things, and whether it was your sponsor stuff, and they would re-blend and remix and make stuff better, or you were able to try other things, and then we would just make sure that the bottle that was sitting on the tail of the box fan was the sponsor stuff, maybe not was inside the
Right.
bike. So there's a lot of that going on, but
Okay.
So yeah. Good. Did I do a good job of botching that answer? Awesome.
So actually, can I ask a question now?
Yes,
I
yeah.
just had a quick one. So
That's
I've
why
heard-
you're here, because
Right.
you said, "Can I ask you questions?" Yes, you can.
All right, cool, awesome. Because
I'm going to ask you some questions too. I got a whole list.
I have a feeling I know what they are too. No, but what I was wondering is I've heard you don't want to mix like synthetic and non-synthetic 2-stroke oil in your tank.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. Yeah, and I was just kind of wondering. So I don't know too much about oil myself. So
Yeah, I've done some blends before. I mean, not 2-stroke
Right.
oil. I'm a little more picky about that. And like in dire situations, yes, but
right.
2-stroke oil, I like try to keep it. If it's a synthetic versus like a castor or something like that. Yeah, and then but like I've mixed some blends inside of motors before.
Okay.
Made a semi-synthetic oil.
Right, because
inside.
I've seen firsthand how you mix 2-stroke oil. It's just whatever you find in your storage containers over there. And I had no idea what was in the tank and what you were putting in there. Well, I knew it was in the tank, but I didn't know what you were putting in there.
Yeah.
And I never noticed any difference. So
We scared a guy away from a ride. Remember that one day?
Yeah,
He saw me mix like that.
yeah. No,
There was a ratio right within sight. I mean, the ratio right was close by, but I can
Right.
eyeball an ounce or 2 or 4 ounces or whatever I had to put in.
right.
And he's like, well, what happens when we have to stop and get gas? I go, I'll just do it like that. Don't worry.
Right. No, yeah, that was my buddy Kevin, actually. Yeah. No, so.
Scared him away. It's good.
Right.
If you're going to worry about that, you don't want to go riding with me. And I think we have another question about that later on in the show. Okay. Let's see. Gear oil. We got that one taken care of. Okay. Yamaha WR450. I actually put up on our Instagram account the maps that I have in that bike right now. I've been going back and forth between the FMFQ and the Yamaha GYTR pipe. And the thing that the GYTR pipe is full moto, aggressive, race, loud. It makes that bike run like a YZ. I mean, it with the competition you see on that, runs like a YZ. And so, and one of the issues that I have with the Yamaha is that map 1 and map 2, the base map in them is different. So map 1 is, quote, the standard or more aggressive map. Map 2 is the mellow map. So if you put a map that's all zeros in map 1 and 2, they're like two different maps. So what? Right. And I've been kind of playing around and struggling with is trying to make it so that if I switch between map 1 and map 2, they're the same. So I know that if I want to have kind of similar maps or I want one to act one way, I kind of know the difference kind of built in. You can't really do it. I've been told by the engineers it's something different. I think it has something to do with the rate of acceleration, and you can even see when they're playing with the map, they're changing the throttle position zones and stuff on that tuner, which is it's amazingly versatile tuner. So I put some maps up there today that make map 2 very much like map 1.
Up on your Instagram?
Yeah, they're on the Dirt Bike Test Instagram.
Okay.
So if you were to basically run all zeros in map 1 with the whatever pipe, and then you put one of these other 2 maps, and they're a little bit different. It's kind of it's more of a personal feel, like where you like to spin the bike, like, because I think what it is a little bit of traction control they built in there. So if you get a little crazy with the throttle, and if you do it whether in low RPM or high RPM, those 2 maps work kind of different.
Right.
It kind of it deadens the throttle response in map 2. So these ones kind of either boost, or they boost map 2. So it's leaner, and then leaner fuel and more aggressive on the ignition. So that's kind of where we're at with these, playing around with them. And then I put a third map in there that now I forgot what that map did, but I explained it on the post. So it was a map that I think took the GYTR pipe and made it like more rideable. Because I think the guy that's buying the WR might be a little surprised when they put the GYT pipe on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's not a WR anymore.
No.
And so this makes it more like a WR. It's definitely not back to the level of stock. Like stock is really tame, and this kind of deadens it quite a bit and makes it like if you were going to ride in the trees, especially slippery stuff. It's a good map. It's a good starting point. And then so people can plug steal my maps or email me, and I'll send them to you. I'll share them with you. And then you can just load it into your tuner. Actually, even if you don't have a Yamaha, you can download the Yamaha Power Tuner app, and I can still send you maps, and you can pretend like you have one, and you could like try to beam it to somebody else's bike. Now you have to have their ECU code, but you can use that as a base, a place to start with, and then you can play with it and make it your own map. And that's everybody's a little bit different where they feel where they want a little bit more, a little bit less, this or that. So have at it. Good times. And the next thing we tested today, and you got to ride it also, was a Chirby's new X-Seat Air. And I saw this on it was an Instagram post or something like that. And so I've had some of their seats going back to I believe it was 2008. I mean, when they very first started these things. And it was just like a plastic seat. And, Chirby's is a plastic company, and they're very forward thinking, and so this seat actually is the 5th. I'm told it's the 5th evolution of the X seat, and now they've added air chambers in it. You almost pump it up like a basketball or a football.
Right? Yeah. I was confused why you had a basketball pump out in your
shock. Yeah, my shock pump, and I'm putting a little bit of air, and you only put between 0 and 9 psi, which is 0.6 bar, I believe, in it. It's not a lot of pressure, but it actually changes the height of the seat a little bit.
Yeah.
And for sure the feel of the seat. And so a couple things. It's a little bit heavier in a stock seat. And if it's cold out, remember this is plastic. It's not a fabric. So that it was cold this morning when I started, and it was brand new. And even over the course of the day, I felt it break in. When it's cold, the seat gets a little bit harder. But when it's warm, it's nice and soft. But I actually think it's a pretty cool thing. And number one, for me on that Yamaha, I want a little bit taller seat. And so I was able to pump up the pressure and make the seat a little bit taller. They kind of say that's one of the things you can do with the air pressure is that change the seat height. Although I don't think it actually does work, because when you sit on it, you actually sit down and squat down into it, almost maybe more than foam, especially at the low pressures.
Yeah, definitely. Because I remember when we took a lot of air out of it, I noticed a huge difference.
And then it's a shaped seat, especially in the back. In the front, it's flat, but then it kind of goes in a shaped seat, almost like you see on bicycle mountain bike seats. And I remember my mountain bike seats back in the old days used to be padded. And if you see a padded mountain bike seat these days, you're watching a beach cruiser. It's not. And so everything's going away from being padded, and they're figuring out the shapes that fit your butt. Of course, this is it's shaped. It's kind of more formed in the back, and it has ripples in it for traction and stuff. So it's interesting. I think I'm stoked that they're pushing and evolving with this thing. I don't think it's for everybody. I'm thinking it's more for somebody that's really competition oriented, somebody that doesn't sit down a lot, but when they sit down, they want some shock absorption. Because I'll tell you right now that Yamaha, you're going to go through the foam into the frame rails pretty easy. And the air pressure, you can put enough air pressure, and you definitely wouldn't do that. And it's still, with air pressure, because it's kind of progressive, it's actually still soft. When the initial part is soft, and then it kind of gets stiff, and it doesn't, you're not stiff like you're running in a frame rail. It's like a kind of a cushion. So it definitely needs more time. Actually, you got it right over. Reach over there and grab it. Yeah,
I was thinking about that. Show the ridges.
Yeah, you have to do something here, not just drink my beer. So yeah, show the ridges.
Oh yeah.
Hold it right up to that camera there.
I'm trying to see where we can get the
rib
here.
Rib for your pleasure.
I was trying not to make that joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So I don't know. How
hey,
well
you know where this technology, if they get this totally figured out, their takeoff is on adventure bikes and stuff. And I know that there's companies that do some sort of air sort of thing with it. Flip them over and show them the
the
bottom,
little
hole. Yeah,
right
the
here.
hole. You pump it up there.
I have to get right up in there.
Yeah. So, but anyways, I think that that this could really change that whole market for sure. So, it maybe not a complete seat. Maybe they make like a foam, and then you can put like a regular cover over the top of it. And their whole thing, one of their things they're trying to get away from is like, normal seats like suck up and absorb water. And we're out here in the desert, we don't really have that problem. But I've raced back east where your seat, like you pull it off at the end of the race, and your seat weighs 20 pounds because the foam is literally like a sponge. It just it sucks up water, and then you're not in the desert. It's not humid, and it doesn't dry out. I mean, it takes a long time for it to drip and dry out. So there's some advantages there. And it's grippy. It's got the stuff.
Yeah. No, I definitely like it more up here where you're actually gonna be sitting when you're riding.
Yeah.
I know you like this, and you mentioned it's not for everyone. I'm one of the people that I don't think this is for. I don't really like the way this sits.
Yeah. See, I don't really ever. It's like, you think about it. I know what you were saying. We're going to get personal. We're talking about Matt's butt here. So if you think about it, if you sit down on the side, I got to move my microphone. Yeah. If you sit down on the side of the seat up there on that side, it's like a normal seat, shaped like a normal seat. But if you sit down here, your cheek kind of cups that sucker, and you can kind of, you get touched in special places.
Yeah. No. My butt's not like most white boys. It's It definitely kind of, I don't know, it definitely likes to eat this a little bit there.
Yeah.
So, and then even on the side there, I would have liked this seat actually a lot more if it was just like a few centimeters wider, or like half an inch wider, quarter inch even. I think I would have liked this seat a lot more.
And then you rode it with I think you rode it with 7 PSI in it, which is what we were riding with today. I rode it earlier with 3. Down to nothing. It was too soft, and actually, even at 7, I wanted to go up to 9. I wanted to go to the full pressure, and when it is full pressure, it actually flattens that out a little bit more. So that might help out as well. So
my thing with the full pressure though is I felt like it kind of stiffened it a little bit more in this. Yeah. So I kind of preferred actually the lower pressure, because when I'm riding, I'm actually not back where
you need dual chamber.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need soft in the front and stiff in the back.
Yeah, there we go.
Another product idea, courtesy of a Dirt Bike Test, in one day. So hopefully that didn't scare you away. Let's talk about your butt.
Yeah.
And
okay, I know my butt's special.
Yeah. So 2020 KTMs. So today, Monday, KTM announced the 2020. KTM EXCs, and guess what? The XCW is back. So all you license plate hating, I need a 4-stroke green sticker dirt bike loving riders, the XCW is back in the 500cc and 350cc sizes. The 250 is mysteriously missing, which means it's gone. I heard that was happening. The sales weren't great on those bikes, so no need to bring something back that's still sitting on dealers' floors. But if the improvements in the motocross and the XCFs is any indication on how much that bike will change, even though you look at it and it's like the head's 20 millimeters lower and it kind of looks the same, but like almost every part on that bike is different. It gets better foot pegs. It gets a lot of better stuff. And the EXC is, of course, PDS. XCW is PDS. And I think they have that dialed. I mean, I think the suspension of those bikes is pretty good, so they don't have to do much there. But those little changes, I don't think you're going to see much changes in the power delivery and power output and stuff like that, but just in the handling and I think for an emissions compliant bike, they've done a really good job, and that'll stay kind of the same. I know they're still struggling, keeping the bikes quiet, and that's tricky. But so it'll come the way it comes, and we know it's acceptable, gets the job done. But I think that the chassis is a big improvement, and like honestly, for me, one of the biggest things they needed to do was fix that floppy rear license plate, rear fender assembly.
Really?
Because the 2012 to 2016 bikes were pretty indestructible. I mean, they lasted. You did not have to change those.
Oh yeah.
On the current ones, you're going to suck your license plate in for sure. And they changed some stuff on the back of that bike to make it stiffer. It looks in the pictures, it looks like they made it stiffer. So I think that's going to be a good thing for most people. Hopefully they, brought it back to the way they had it before. I'm sure they're dropping some weight. I didn't look at the exact specifics of it, but that's always their goal. They're looking for ounces here and there to drop weight and stuff. And
yeah.
So, but XCW is kind of a big thing. And of course, there's no 450. They didn't announce a 450, but they usually bring those over as 6-day editions and then let Husky sell some. And we didn't see any, wasn't any Husky info. Anybody see any Husky info anyplace? I didn't see it.
What are the main differences between the Huskies and the KTMs? Because last I knew, and my information's old now, is it was kind of like subframe, plastics, and some gearing differences, if I remember right.
So the bikes are, they're very, very similar. The biggest thing between Husky and KTM when you're talking the street legal version is the linkage shock. You're going to a chassis that has a linkage suspension.
The Huskies have
linkage? Have linkage.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Huskies are all linkage.
Okay.
And currently they've been running the same fork.
Yeah.
But the Husky has a linkage to the back, and then the subframe is actually composite.
Okay.
And then so the stuff the gas tank, and then where the seat and the subframe attach and stuff is just all that stuff's a little bit different. The air intake track kind of internally is kind of the same, but on the externally, the way the airbox cover fits on the side of it, and the composite subframe changes it. They have a Brembo Magura. So one of them uses Brembo and one of them uses Magura as far as the clutch activation.
Yeah.
They use different handlebars. Pro Taper on the Huskies. KTM has their stuff. So it's just like it's a couple little things, and you'd be surprised at how different the bikes feel. The linkage for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine that one making a huge difference, especially on the road. Yeah,
it makes some difference. But just even on the motocross bikes, when we're riding like the factory editions, were the ones I just rode recently with the 450 KTM and Husky factory edition motocross bikes, and when you ride them, they're you think they're the same, but they're different, and it's almost like. And here's how subtle that stuff is. And for somebody that rides a lot of these different bikes a lot. People say, "Oh, they can't be that different." It's like, yeah, they are. It's about as different as when you would go buy a bike and I buy a bike. We buy a brand new bike, and 3 weeks later we show up and we're going to go ride our brand new bikes. But I've put a gas tank and some goofy handlebars on my bike, and you went and got a seat and changed your tires. And the bikes, they're different.
Yeah,
that's just how sensitive these bikes are these days to that kind of stuff. So they're the same. And I think people, if you're really, I prefer PDS. I mean, I just 100%. Every time I ride over a log, I thank my PDS that my rear tire hits the log and not my shock linkage. Yeah. Right, Gabe? Because I hop on a bike like even the WR the other day, and I was going to do like this little hop over the log demo thing and just go whack.
Yeah, just.
And I'm like, oh. So
do the KTM still have? They still use the PDS on their enduro models?
on
Like
the XCWs and the EXCs, and that's it. The XCs, which is really brother to the motocross bike, is linkage. So it's, the XC and SX are motocross mean linkage, and then XCW and EXC are off-road, which they still run the PDS, and I think it's good. I mean,
Yeah.
And then if you want a KTM XCW or EXC with a linkage, buy a Husky.
Yeah. Okay. So
that's the
right.
answer.
So they have different options for different people based off, I don't know, personal preference, but
Yeah, it's hard to tell what you like, but try it. You go to it. They have great demo ride programs. Get a chance to ride the bikes at demo rides and stuff like that. Steal your buddy's bike, whatever it takes. And I know I had some other questions here. Let's see. I'm going to get these. Oh, I was going to ask you a question, Matt. Here, I have my questions here. So, you asked if I can ask you questions. I wanted to ask you questions.
Yeah.
Your bike. You have a very nice Husaberg that was a few parts away from being nice. It was kind of a pile of crap. Can you explain to me, since after we had our discussion today, because I don't just like, this is the only time I'm really blowing hot air and making noise.
Yeah.
But today I was very specific. I said, you should fix this.
Yeah.
And we're probably talking about $100 in parts and 3 hours in work. What would take your bike from being a clapped out feeling jalopy to, and this goes to almost everybody out there, because the three or four things I pointed out to you, I feel on a lot of bikes, and it's the difference between like what makes your bike really feel good and perform well. And so go ahead. What was number one?
So number one, it was the levers, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were saying that the levers there were just kind of old and bent, and the knob broke off one, so I just kind of cut the other one off to match. And I actually preferred the feel of the no balls on the end of the levers. The other thing was there's an assortment of different bolts on there as well. Some of them are like the actual KTM bolts.
So back to levers. The levers, the cutting off. Okay, I get that and stuff. The one broken, but what was the problem with them besides them being a little bit flappy?
Oh, they were they were squeaky, and they felt like they need to be lubed up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So it's just as simple as that.
And you pull it and they go, every time you hear that squeak noise, that's putting a filter between you and what you want your bike to do.
Right.
I mean, you probably could have bought new graphics, and it might have made me ignore. I'd say, man, your bike looks rad. But then I rode your bike.
Yeah.
And okay, so we got squeaky levers. So a little bit of grease there. Where else were the grease going to go?
Well, I know a lot of my bearings could definitely use some regreasing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a, because he's got a upper shock bearing that's loose, which the bike already is a little prone to vibration, and we start talking about some of the other bolts on the chassis, but little prone to vibration, and that added clink,
right,
amplifies that and doesn't help. So
and plus the little vibration coming from the levers too, just kind of adding to it.
It's an oscillator. It's physics. Oscillate. It's vibration or oscillation or something like that.
Yeah.
I
haven't gotten to that part yet, but I kind of. Yeah.
So shock linkage. No, not shock. Shock. Grease the shock bolts. It's a Husaberg. They were back on the PDS train.
Yeah. One thing I was going to ask you was, so I've actually re-greased those quite a few times now. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have many rides on it since I've last re-greased it, but that they've already gotten to the point where they need to be greased again. And I've replaced those bearings 2 or 3 times now. So I'm just wondering if I'm just like packing the grease in there wrong, or.
Well, generally the bearings come, lubed and greased.
Right.
And then and out here, as long as you don't just blast it with a pressure washer.
Yeah.
That's good. But the dirt out here is also pretty, acidic. Mm. And, you splash some of that stuff, you go ride on the dry lake bed, and when it's wet and that stuff splashes up in there, and you notice how everything turns white.
Yeah.
That's working its way into those things if it's not, waterproofed. So sometimes that can be, a factor. Sometimes not having the bolts properly torqued can be a little bit of a factor. There's a lot of stuff that kind of that goes into it. But those two things, I think, were the two primary things I noticed. And then the O-rings on your pipe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So your pipe, the O-rings on them were just destroyed, and so that's also starting to rattle.
Yeah,
and that shakes. But the way
I just really like vibrations on the bike.
And we're going to talk about the dirt bike test tool of the week. This tool, Enduro Engineering. Yeah, surprise, right? So Enduro Engineering makes this little gem, and this is what would make Matt's bike. Actually, Matt, had I brought, this is a lattice of coincidence here. Had I ever showed my friend Bob this tool, he would have a KTM, and then Matt would have a KTM and not a Husaberg right now, I think. But they rode back when we were testing the Husaberg Matt has and the new KTM at the time against each other. I'd played with this tool. This adjusts the power valve. It has a little square thing. You can wedge a screwdriver in there. And in my Harbor Freight Tech Talk tool talk of the week next time, I'll show you how to do that as opposed to using a proper tool. Don't tempt me, Brandon. So this little guy, you can take it and you can adjust the power valve. And your bike has a substantial amount of hit right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And it feels to me like either the power valve spring is kind of, I don't know which one which one you have in there, and then how you have it preloaded. And that's the cool thing about the KTMs is you're able to adjust the main spring.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then this other spring puts preload in it to kind of adjust not only the time it opens, but how it opens.
Right. No, I've actually played around with that a little bit. I have all three. It was yellow, green, and red, I believe, right? And I think I actually have all three. Right now, I think I have the green in there because if I remember, I was like yellow is mellow, green is somewhere in between, maybe.
I have to look at
and then like red is dead, and and I put the red one in there, and
because you used to like way mellow.
I used to like really mellow, yeah, no, and then when I put red in there, I actually didn't like red. Back then, this was like 2 or 3 years ago now, because banging through the gears, the fourth gear, like getting on it, that front wheel still wanted to come up.
Yeah.
So I think right now is green. I think I would like red now, but I would want to tune it down a little bit because it was almost unrideable. Like the power wasn't usable.
It was dead.
No, not dead. No, it was just.
Oh, red. So when you said red is dead, red means you're dead.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, no. The bike's not dead. No, the bike's goal is to kill you when it has red.
Got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so. I didn't. It's funny how you gave the power valve a name, and that's probably I could remember it if I had done that. But anyways, this tool very simply, you just carry it in your pocket, and you come out and you just do these little quarter turn adjustments, or maybe turn it 3 turns one way, ride it, turn it 3 turns the other way, ride it, figure out which way you want, and then work your way back into the happy zone.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, good tool. This I would almost let you have this, but I'd never see it again.
So actually, Bob, when he sold me that bike, he had an Allen tool that he just shaved down to fit in there. I have a homemade one.
I'll bet you this thing would cost way less than the time it took for you to manufacture that tool. Enduro Engineering. EnduroENG.com. I can't remember their website.
Just Google Enduro Engineering.
Gabe will get that to me. He'll put it up on the chat room.
Yeah.
But
I think KTM makes one now, but I think it's still made by Enduro Engineering. They just put KTM on it.
Probably. Hard parts, yeah. Look at your KTM hard parts.
Yeah.
EnduroENG.com. Good guys. They make good stuff. I want to show you something else because I know last week we talked about something. And this is going to be hard to show you, but there was a guy who asked about the 90-degree elbow on top of your fuel injector, and there was somebody that was trying to sell him one that was straight, and he was worried about flow. And I said, well, in your system there is this filter. Can you see that? This little teeny tiny guy. It's not very big. Your arm's longer than mine. Yeah. Reach up there and put that right in front of that. Put that right in front of the camera.
I know exactly what these are.
Yeah, that little sucker right there. If you're worried about a 90-degree elbow in your system that has like this diameter, and then you're going to stick this little filter in there and worry about flow, probably not too much of an issue. But in reality, those are the stock KTM filters, and this is something else I've been running. These Zip Tie makes these, and these are a big filter. And the cool thing is they actually replaced the fitting. You know, Gabe, that quick disconnect fitting that they have on the gas tanks for KTMs, so you don't have to think. And I would actually pull it off here, but it's actually stuck on there. But check out this guy here. Nice big filter, reusable, washable. You can put that in there. I would put that in there before I started to try to straighten out my intake track with using hose clamps and things. So just a word to the wise, I guess. Okay, going to run back to some questions, and then we're going to hit the boards real soon. But these are questions that were asked earlier.
So you can get your phone open.
Yeah, I can get it open. Here we
There
go.
we go.
So Garrett asked, and thank you for asking this, Garrett. I know how you're doing here. Besides yourself, excuse me, let me pat myself on the back here. Who are some media influencers who can actually be trusted for product recommendations? It seems that most of them today are just spitting out a bunch of BS. You're speaking to the choir. I can spot rubbish pretty well, but many people new to the sport fall into these marketing traps. I do everything I can to educate some of these new riders on what is going on like you do, but how can we make it even more clear to the noobs who can be trusted and who is bought? You know what? I don't have the answer. Because I see it. I see it all the time. Your Insta influencers right away. It's like, hey, I got this many people following me, and I got this many eyeballs, and all this stuff, and it's everybody's opinion is valid. I will listen to everybody's opinion, and then I always kind of roll back and okay, what kind of experience do you have and where are you coming from? Like, what else have you compared it to? And when I see people that are like really pumping the same stuff all the time, and don't beat on me for my JD jetting tuner. Because there's some things that are really good, and it is if it's really good for me, and I'll tell you about it. But that doesn't mean it's good for you, and you have to kind of know that. So I don't really know. I mean, if you're new, you don't have the experience, and I think experience goes a long way. And like I like to say, is I was influencing influencers before they had influence, and I'm still influencing them today. So follow Dirt Bike Test on Instagram and Facebook, and listen to this podcast and our YouTube channel and that other thing I haven't told you about that we're going to be big on pretty soon. San Felipe Bob, my buddy San Felipe Bob, can you explain the all-important asset liability factor when choosing riding buddies? Yeah, and he says, I know my size. Well, I know my size too. That's why I ride with about three people on a regular basis. I can't explain that in the time we have left.
I know one thing that I ran into a lot out here in Pahrump, and one thing you've ran into with me is the mechanics, their ability to be a mechanic. I know when I've come out on rides with you, my bike breaks a lot.
Yeah,
it's just something about you. I don't know what it is.
I make bikes break.
Yeah, no,
without touching them.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's like this psychic ability. But I know out here in Pahrump, a lot of people don't know how to take care of their bike. Like even the more basic stuff. Even though greasing the lever is pretty basic. I know people who didn't know you had to clean your air cleaner or never change the tranny fluid, and so their bikes would break down on me all the time. So I would always choose a riding buddy based on how often their bike would break down. If their bike broke down more, I'd ride with them less. So,
yeah, that's it. So if when I say, hey, we're going to go riding, if you ask me, there's a couple questions that are just instant red flags. It's like, when are we going to be back? That's a really bad question to ask me.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter. We're going to go riding. We will get back.
Right.
When is depending how good the riding is. If you're no fun, we're going to be back really quick, or you're coming back by yourself. The other question a lot of times is, so it's how much gas do I need?
Full tank.
Yeah, a full tank.
Right.
And I probably know what kind of bike you have. And I would suspect, that if I'm inviting you or we've talked about riding, I understand what you're on. So yeah,
right.
the tank should pretty much be full because you're going to run out of gas.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I hit reserved a few times.
And then like the one I love the most is, do I need a headlight?
I learned that very quickly with you. You always need a headlight.
It's really good to have because you
Right.
can at least when the lights go out outside, you can do
Right.
something about that and you can get your ass back. So
Right.
those are kind of questions that just signal straight away that you're a liability, not an asset on
Right.
on our trail ride. And don't stop by to visit me on your tour through wherever here.
And it goes by anonymous.
Because you're aliens. Let's see. Thoughts on KTM dropping the 254 stroke? Yeah, they didn't sell well enough. There's a lot of, and the thing is, the KTM is a high performance 254 stroke, and usually people that are in the market for that bike are looking for a low performance 254 stroke. Your parents have those.
Yeah, the
CRF 250Ls.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
are great bikes.
They are. They're great for people who they don't want to go fast. They just want to get out and and just enjoy like some like forest roads or two tracks. Nothing extreme.
Yeah, those bikes are inexpensive. They get the job done. There's a fair amount of them out there in all different varieties and flavors and seat heights and gas tank capacities and all. The KTM was definitely on one end, and in reality, the difference between a 350 and a 250 for, let's say, somebody who's kind of in between there, it's a couple pounds on the scale and a little bit more power. But you know what? The throttle goes both ways. So if you don't need a 350, you can ride a 350 and only turn the throttle to 250 levels.
Right.
That's my take on it. So I mean, they're making a lot of bikes.
So again, I've been out of the loop for a while. I was kind of curious. So how's the 150 been doing? Because I know they replaced the 200 with the 150.
Big mistake.
Big mistake. Yeah,
in my world.
Right? Because
I'm fat. I mean, my extra girth needs that extra 50 cc's of torque. Really, what it is. No, I think for the intended market, kids moving up, coming off of 85s or 105s and going to, the next level of two-stroke, it makes it kind of a little bit more torquey or available to compete with, 254 strokes. Maybe you can be on it for a year and stuff like that. The 200 was its own unique engine platform, so expensive to produce, and the 150 is based on the 125, and they're always going to make 125s.
Right.
So it's a marketing decision, and they did the best with what they had to produce. They're fun bikes to ride, but it just kind of takes it out of my, for me it's not there. But I mean, for a smaller, lighter guy that wants to, hey, I'm going to change it up this year. I'm going to ride a 150.
Right.
I think.
Yeah, no, because I remember in Alaska when I worked at a KTM dealership, there was there was a guy who traded in his 200 for 150. And he was actually a smaller guy.
Yeah.
And he actually didn't even like the 150. He kind of wanted the 200s on hill climbs is where he really noticed it.
The 200 is more like 250 and the 150 is more like 125. It's
right.
And we used to have 125 or 250. There was the KDX 200 and then KTM started making them, and guess what? Now Beta makes one, and we're going to test one soon hopefully, and then maybe there's filling in the hole, but
nice.
I'm going to get a KTM 300 next. That's my next.
You want my Husaberg 300?
No.
You sure?
No. I like fuel injection. I'm going to go fuel injection all the way.
Okay, that one I'll give you. Okay.
Justin asks, XCFWs, how do you think these will run compared to the XCs? I'm told they're a little bit more aggressive in the power delivery and stuff. I'm told they're mapped a little bit different because they don't have to meet such stringent. I think the emissions requirements are the same. The tailpipe emissions, if I'm not, or pretty close to it. Chris Real would definitely be able to answer this, but I think they can make a little bit more noise, or the mufflers don't have to be quite as restrictive. So they'll probably run a little bit better.
It would make sense since the street legal ones do need to actually meet a noise requirement.
The off-road ones do too.
Oh, really?
The XCWs have to meet a noise requirement.
Okay.
There's a sound test for it, and it is pretty tight, but not nearly to the level that the street one. I don't think they. I don't know which exactly tests they do, but they're not. They don't have to worry about some of that stuff as much.
Okay.
George asks, which is better, liquid or spray on air filter oil? Bike salesman told me years ago he checks the air filter on used bikes before making an offer. If it was sprayed on, he would pass. Not sure how he could tell. Well, if you have used both, and I have used both quite extensively, sometimes you can see spray patterns because people will spray them. Well, people will do everything. I always spray them on the inside, and I still wring them and squeeze them a lot. What I also found, if you're not careful, especially on cold days or especially when it's damp, is some of the propellants in the spray-on air filters, if you don't shake them up or even if you do shake them up, sometimes the propellants actually go in there and almost freeze the air filter, and then the oil doesn't spread out.
Okay.
So, because you know how propellant's usually kind of cold, it's like a propane or something like that.
Yeah.
So, you just have to. I think it's spraying the same stuff out there. They're just it might be a little bit different formulation or whatever, but most air filters are pretty good. There's some that are better than others. I actually my favorite air filter oil of all time is this stuff. It's Rock Oil makes it, and it's called water washable synthetic. It's called synthetic water washable air filter oil, SWAF.
Okay.
And they make it in both spray and roll on, and you literally rinse it out with water. And it won a shootout we did in Dirt Rider, and I've been using it ever since then. It's hard on air filters because it's got a lot of alcohol in it, and it's hard on the foam and hard on the glue, kind of like No Toil is.
Right.
No Toil requires its own cleaner to get it clean. But I was always very happy with that as well. And then there's a few other brands. I mean, Maxima's FFT is excellent for a petroleum product and really good. The Twin Air stuff, and whether it's their normal stuff, and I think they've kind of switched over to their bio stuff, has all been really, really good. And sometimes when you're using some of these ones that are, they have different thinners in them, it's hard on the glue and stuff like that. But I wouldn't. You know what I would do if I were used bike salesman? I'd take the air filter off, and if I saw anything past the air filter, and a lot of times those are clean. That somebody gone in there and cleaned it up. I can look and see.
Yeah.
And there's a couple little key things I look at when I'm buying used bikes. Maybe we'll donate a podcast to telling you how to buy a used bike one of these days. I'm going to scroll through.
That'd be a good one, actually.
Yeah.
I could use that one.
How to buy you? Yeah. We are telling. We should tell everybody that the guy you bought your bike from is sitting here.
Yeah, like 10 feet from me.
Yep.
If he saw what I did to it, I think he'd be.
Yeah. Well, you
might
guys
be a little appalled.
Yeah, you guys treat each other fairly, I'm sure. Let's see. I remember shock bolt issue with Matt's bike. Bob's got you on count. Bob's holding down the fort here. Let's see, Marco. Well, good, Marco. Good to see that you're not using your wife's account this week. That's always nice because now I don't picture her talking to me like that. Let's see. I spent a half an hour watching the May 14th TikTok. What did I miss? Damn it. It was that good that you missed the live show to watch the old one. Actually, I got to get that up on the I don't know. I'm behind. Let's see. Red is harder hit. Green is mellow. See, somebody's catching it. Red makes you dead.
Yeah. No, if you're not ready for it, it will kill you.
Yeah. When I heard you say red dead, I thought red like dead in the power. So.
Yeah. Cool. I'm glad we got people fact checking us right here.
Got it. Bottom of the fork of my KTM 1090R. And the left side now weeps. Tired of cleaning out with Seal Buddy several times. How do I know if the continued weeping indicates the sealers are crappy job at cleaning? Ian, first of all, slow the down when you're riding your adventure bike. If you bottom it out, it means one thing: you're riding it too fast. If trust me, on most of the KTM adventure bike forks I've pulled apart, the oil levels have been all over the place. Mostly too low, but I have seen them a little bit on the high side. Why are you waving? They're all like that. Well, okay. So anyways, back to my thing here. The chicken gallery's getting they need a beer. So
cheerleader.
It could have been like, hydraulic lock, or you just compressed it so much, or maybe had a little bit extra air in there as well, and it just blew the seal. And I mean, I've rarely heard of that happening, but it does happen. And it can compromise the seal at that point. It can actually, what it usually I've found that does is it bends the spring or twists or deforms the spring that's actually putting tension on that seal. So you may have to replace the seals. That's just the cause of riding your thing. Hey, Chris Smith, good to see you, buddy. I don't know. I rode on Bob Jones' bicycle trail this weekend. Just want to let you know, you guys with the good names. George, good job. How do you spell George? Not with a J. Tell your wife I said hi. What was it, Stacy? Jet ski carbs have those pesky little filters in them. Let's see. Garrett thanks me for answering his question. Let's see. Bob's making funny jokes. Let's see. I'm getting close to the end. Luckily, we're getting close to the end. We have succeeded in lasting for a whole hour here. Hey, if anybody needs solar power in California, I'm throwing a shout out to my friend Matt Stoutenberg. He wired my garage and it hasn't burnt down yet. So, but not with solar, not propane. He's giving me chemical advice. You were supposed to give me some good physics advice. What did Bob tell you when the most important thing about physics when you walked in here?
That was about he was talking about engineering. It was F equals MA and don't push rope.
See, at least if everything else I said this whole podcast was useless, that should help you out in your future endeavors.
Right.
Hopefully, we've answered 9 out of the 10 questions that we were given without referring to too many reference manuals. I'd like to thank Matt for coming down. I'd like to thank Gabe for getting our TV screen up there with our logos working in less than an hour. Not too bad. I helped a little bit. We got it figured out. We're planning on making this thing a little bit better one step at a time. With good sponsors like Kate's, TM Design Works, and Achirby's coming on. That helps us out a bunch, makes it easier. Of course, Climb has been supporting dirt bike tests since day one. That's the gear I wear when I'm riding for fun and a lot of times for photo shoots too. If you want to support us, you can buy one of these nifty T-shirts like this. We send them out once a week. We'll get around to the orders and send them out. And if you're double XL, guess what? These are sold out now. So we may possibly be coming to you from Montrose, California, or Foothill, or someplace like that, out of ESP Suspension. So maybe I can answer that fork seal question more accurately soon. We'll see how things go. I've got our Honda CRF 450X is up there getting the forks and shock tuned on. And I know I wanted to talk a little bit about that bike. So if you have ever taken the rear shock out of a Honda CRF 450X, the old version, it required almost like remove motor disassembly.
Really?
But there were a couple tricks. You can remove the subframe. You take the muffler off, not remove the subframe. You can disconnect the subframe, disconnect the airbox boot. And there was a weird way you could twist the frame, kind of pivot it on the wires, all the wires that go back there. You can pivot on there and kind of slide it out there. Well, guess what? With that new piggyback shock, you can just about you can do it. I did it just barely, but I think it's going to take 2 people to get it back in because, you're almost tipping the bike over and to get it out there. So, and we put our Bulletproof Designs radiator guards on there, and word to the wise. I got to talk about those wheels too.
No, bring them up here. So
look at those things.
There we go.
Those are gems. Yeah. Put a dent in the conference table there, Chief. This was a nice conference table.
It still is.
Okay,
it's just
good.
a nice conference table with a bent, with the
ding from the rim. Yeah. Just admire those while I'm sitting here telling you about the Bulletproof Design. If you ever get a new bike and you want to get radiator guards, do it when the bike is new. Do not wait. Because especially the shaped ones, like the Bulletproof Design ones, they were, because our bike was brand new when they were air shaped over here, and we rode it a little bit, and they were just a little bit tweaked, and luckily we were able to get them on there, but it was close, and so when those radiators take a little bit of shape, hey, what's wrong with your bike today?
Oh, we discovered a hole in the radiator.
In the radiator, yeah.
So, on top of all the other things,
just one thing, and it runs. It could run out of water and seize, but that's no big deal. You just get another one. Buy radiator guards before you bend your radiators because it's safe. That's the reason you want them in the first place, and it's a cheap fix. And so those things went on there. We got them on there. It's all good. When we looked at them closely, if you notice how low that one radiator hangs down, I think it's on the it would be on the clutch side. It's down there low, and just from us riding through branches and stuff, the bottom of that radiator has some pretty good dents in it, and it was slapped hard enough, and it wasn't from crashing. It was slapped hard enough to where it actually kind of tweaked the radiator back a little bit. Okay. So word of the wise. So we were able to get the shock off. We'll be riding that more in the future. I'm fully satisfied with the maps we have for that. I'll put those up someplace. And check out these W wheels. These are for my KTM 1090. and they had relaced to my stock hubs my smaller rims. And everybody asks me why I do this. I run more narrow rims on my adventure bike. And the reason being is I want it to feel a little bit more agile, and it gives it a little more lighter, a little more playful feel. I can run a wider selection of tires, and I prefer the way that it wraps the tire and shapes the tire for dirt performance, which is where I ride it most of the time. And it still provides acceptable grip on the road. Those things are shiny and gold and heavy duty. So be jealous. Wait till you see my 1090 next time. It's awesome. And I think with that, I'm going to scroll down, make sure we don't have any last minute questions. We need a pressure washer sponsor, Glenn. You are exactly right. And in fact, I got 2 pressure washers that are on the fritz right now. So
yeah, no, that one you had me use today was it took me like 10 minutes of finicking to
clean a car. Oh, so you came over today with a clogged carburetor too.
Well, yeah. I thought it would clear out.
Good thing I have an ultrasonic cleaner. So
we got it done quickly.
On that note, we're going to close this one up. Thanks again for showing up.
Mine's empty.
We'll see you. That's good. Yeah, we'll see you next Tuesday, hopefully, if we do another one of these. But you never know. You're going to have to beg for this one. So, because I feel like going riding. And it's light enough to where I could actually be riding at 7 o'clock and not miss sitting here like one bit. So, we'll see you out on the trail. Cheers. Okay.